Hello everyone, this is Tim and this is part 2 of my Rolemaster Gamemaster Law series. This video is going to just talk about the player types, and those are described in this book as the player's Zodiac. So they're going to go through and list different sorts of animals and how they feel that certain RPG players fit into these sort of groups, stereotypes, what have you. They do say that most players fit 1, 2, or 3 of these different personalities, sort of mixed up in a blender. But see what you guys think, and hopefully you enjoy it. The bear is always right, at least in his own mind. He can hammer away at a story without getting tired. He is systematic about problem solving. The game can cause him a lot of stress because he must succeed. Very often he ignores all but the strongest counsel. However, his actions and ideas are driven by huge doses of common sense. A story is guaranteed to move forward with the bear as the leader, but many players will simply be passengers along for the ride. The bear should try being a referee. The bull is action-bound. He would prefer to charge the obvious than wait for boring speculation. The bull puts great energy into playing the game. Unfortunately, he usually blunders all over the plot, but he also understands that he will miss things and will expect to get a second crack at things. It is his dedication to action that makes him a good leader. A referee should find it easy to motivate the bull, but it may be impossible to predict him. The cat is clever and curious, sometimes as much as the hound and the fox. If the cat was not so easily unnerved by the story, he would be a good leader. The cat tends to have good ideas, but he is uncertain of their quality and fears failing. The cat works best as a companion to the leader. He spends a lot of time worrying about the mistakes he has made and those he might make. Despite his seeming distress, he loves the game. The cow is just marking time. The game might be interesting, but the cow is not a role player. He will only actively participate if the referee makes a special effort to make him the center of attention. Most of the time, energy spent trying to bring the cow into the story will be wasted. He is usually at the game because of the social nature of the group, not to add anything to the story itself. The dragon is greedy and covets success and power. However, he also loves to watch others fail. At times the dragon is fearless, at other times he is full of cowardice. But dragons, like bears, do not stop, ever. Unfortunately, the dragon is not playing to see the story to its end. Instead, he is playing to prove he is the best, or at least that everyone else is not as good as him. His love for the game is great, but the motivations for his love of the game are very selfish. The eagle is a charismatic player that has many good ideas. He is the perfect leader. Other players follow him almost without question. He wants to know what the other players think, and has a special sense of what the GM is trying to convey in the story. His passion for the game is rarely matched. The fox is clever. He takes precautions that make it difficult to mislead him, and this can be a problem if you need the party to be misdirected. He is not initially aggressive, but can become tenacious if he deems it necessary. He is not always willing to take risks for the other player's objectives, though he will often risk much for his own gain. For the fox, there is no need to hurry into the story. He works well with the eagle. The hawk is aloof. He usually discerns great things and deep hidden secrets, simply by listening and observing the game. The hawk likes to know things and does not easily share his secrets. However, when he does decide to share, he will generally take over as a temporary leader and drive the story strongly. He will take advantage of what he has learned, accomplish the goal, and then back off. He gets along well with everyone, although he is usually annoyed with the Hound, who will always pester him for his secret knowledge. The Hound is a story fanatic. His curiosity for the story is foremost on his mind. He knows what to ask, how to ask, and whom to ask. With a Hound in his game, the referee can be subtle with his story and expect that the players will not get confused. The Hound can make a good leader. He will take everyone with him on the chase. The Hound will not give up the trail easily. When he is right, he is very right. A hound never gets tired of the story. The Magpie is always demanding the best. He wants the shiny stuff. He wants the referee's attention. He wants the NPCs to remember him. The bigger and shinier the story, the more satisfaction he gets. A Magpie will up the visible scope of the game every chance he gets, so be very careful about what you give him, what kind of information you give him. The Magpie will always attempt to be the center of attention. If he is not given a major story share, he will become distracting to the other players. The Rabbit is a victim. Things always seem to happen to him. However, he is generally adept at dodging the worst effects from these events. He is the perfect target for side story information. He looks to other players for advice and direction. He reports all that he sees and hears. He can make an important part of the party. A rabbit is best if he has an interesting background that the GM can retreat to for injecting information into the main story. The Serpent loves mishaps. He lives to see others make mistakes and always thinks he could do better. He can be difficult to keep control over. However, if he respects the GM, he can provide a great mechanism for moving the plot along or directing the story. His plotting knows no end. He tends to provide a great deal of comedy to the game, especially when he fails. He will usually cooperate with the party, but his individual actions are hard to predict. The Sponge simply absorbs all that you throw at him, and generally does not add anything back to the game. He will take the best character background and never mention it. He will see the most interesting things and not respond to them. He remembers very little of previous games. He is usually not in the game for the sake of role-playing. The Turtle is slow but steady. He has a great memory and can recount most, if not all, the events of the story to date. He is also incredibly loyal to the game. As the game is played, the Turtle is content to watch the story unfold before his eyes. He follows intently and will remember the smallest details. The party can often get important information from the Turtle. He is probably the only one who remembers exactly where the NPC was sitting in the tavern when they talked to him 3 months ago. However, the Turtle has less initiative than other players. He is often too overwhelmed by the story events to participate in the big role. Some novice players start as turtles and come out of their shells later, revealing their true nature. The Vulture is that lost person that eventually makes everyone angry. His enthusiasm for the game is unmatched, except perhaps by the eagle. But his conduct is horrible. His luck is terrible. He is moody and overreacts to everything. In general, the Vulture is more trouble than he is worth. The best GMs can direct the Vulture, usually with the help of an eagle or a bear player, toward evolving into a different type of gamer. He could eventually become a great eagle or a bear. I'd be curious to know what type of player you think you are. And feel free to be honest to the point of saying, you know, I'm kind of like the Sponge. I don't know. But just think about it maybe. I thought it was kind of interesting to classify players in this sort of way. And some of them aren't very nice. They have some negative stigma to them. But I thought it was interesting that they took the time to try to break down different players and who they are. But really, when you come down to it, these are generalizations, and this is more just about, you know, doing something that's fun, and, you know, everybody is an individual, just so happens that some of them fit some of these descriptions. So, okay, I'll see you in part 3 of my Rolemaster series.